I have several different windows up here on the screen. Over here is PHP My Admin. Down here is my text editor, which is Notepad. Over here I have Firefox, which is I use to display PHP. And over here I have File Explorer for my Windows computer. I already have here file 0, which is the boilerplate, and in this particular demonstration I'll be creating two databases, database 1, database 2, and I'll have tables in each of those databases, and then I'll create corresponding PHP files in order to demonstrate the problem that I'm running into. So for right now, I'm going to move the Firefox out of the way and also the File Explorer out of the way. And here is where I'll be creating my database files. And I'll do the first one, and I'll create that one, and that is database 1, and then I'll create a table for this, and that's just going to have one column, and the features of that one column is that it'll have varchar, it'll have 50, and the heading is going to be column 1. And I'll save that. Now I'm going to create 5 different rows. Well, I'm going to put 5 different rows into that database. The first one, second one, third one, fourth one, and the 5th one. So you can see here that I have under the heading column 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different rows in that particular table of that particular database. Now I'm going to I'm going to use Notepad as my text editor, and I'm going to create file number 1 for it. So this is file 1 as my title. If you go down, you'll see that for my database, I'm connecting to database 1, And I'm using table for database 1. And over here, I already have column 1 put in here. And this PHP file, I'll have a link to it in the description of this clip, so you'll be able to go into it and access this file. Now I'm going to save the file. And the file is going to be 1.php. And I'll save that. As you can see, where 0 was, now I have 1, which is the file I created. I said it's going to create 2 PHP files. And you'll be able to verify that, or I'll be able to verify that, by seeing this in the title section of the particular file. So in order for me to display it, I'll do so by putting this in the search or the file location. And as you can see, for file number 1, it shows all the information as it was created in this particular PHP file. Now I'm going to change this to file number 2, so that the file number 2 appears up here, and I'll have another one created down here, which will be file number 2. And I'm going to keep everything exactly like it is. So let's save this as not a text file, change it to all files. I'll put number 2 here, .php. So that below 0 and 1 2 should appear after it's created. And it is created. And then I'll change this up here to number 2. And it is connected to the same database and same table within that database. So nothing's changed, so you would expect it to display properly as it is doing. Now I'm going to go back into my PHP admin and make a couple of changes here to it. Well, not changes. I'm actually going to create myself a different database and another table within that database. So the database is going to be database 2. I'm going to create that in the table, and it is going to be table 2. And that's going to have 2 columns. Instead of 1, it's going to have 2. The first column is going to be the ID, and that's going to be auto-indexed. And the second one will be column 1, and that'll be varchar. That'll be 50, and I'll save that. Now I'm going to index this column 2. Well, index the column 2. Not index, but I'm going to put information in here, just like we did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the only difference between this database and this table 2 is that I have an ID besides the column 1. That's all I have. So I'm going to go to my file number 2, which it still shows here as file number 2, and I'm going to make some changes to it. It's going to be, instead of number 1, it's going to be number 2. This will be table for number 2. And over here, instead of me having just this column 1, I'm going to have a dot, $, row, and this will have I'm forgetting, let me go back here and look, ID. Okay. And those are the only changes I'm making to this file. So it theoretically should display. However, instead of it displaying, I'm going to save this. And when I refresh here, I get this attempt to read property num rows on bool in this file and 0 results. And the only difference is I indexed I created this index in addition to this particular column 1 here. So there you have it. There's the demonstration. I need to know what is wrong with the code in this file it creates this warning instead of it displaying. And the overall objective is to be able to create multiple columns within that PHP or within this SQL file in PHP MyAdmin and have it displayed. So just like file number 1, which will have a link to it in the description where you can go and access it, this file number 2 will be there as well. So I'm looking for someone to be able to explain to me what's going on with my code and how it has to be changed so I can get everything working as it should work.